I'd like to say welcome to another segment of Recovery Live Global. I'm your host, Jesse Washington, and it's so nice to be here in the community and actually taping, filming, and capturing some of the great work that's being done in Wayne County. And I have with me today Mr. David Sampson, and he's over at Mariners Inn.
Yes, sir.
And he came highly recommended. I was talking to some other providers, and he came D-Win recommended him. My boss recommended him. So he came highly recommended. And so I made the phone call and asked if he would be willing to take a few minutes or time out of his busy schedule and then talk to us about what's really going on in the recovery processes. We're going to talk about a few platforms. But first of all, I'd like to ask you, what's your position as you relate to Mariners Inn?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Washington, for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm truly humbled to hear that, people are recommending that I talk to you on such a global platform. I appreciate that. But my position, I have the privilege of serving as the CEO here at Mariners Inn.
Okay. CEO.
Yes,
That's
sir.
Chief Executive Officer.
That's what that stands for. Yes, sir.
Wow, and I think that's an earned position too. It ain't something normally when a person is serving as the CEO. Those are earned positions. And when I thought about it, I was driving over here, and I was looking at it's so much renovation going on in the community and the neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
You guys have been in this neighborhood for a long, long time. I can date back to 1984. You guys was probably here even before that.
Yes, sir.
But matter of fact, Harbor Light used to sit right across the street.
That's right.
From this agency here. And then when you think about the treatment part, what levels of treatment do you service right now? I mean, what's the layers? We talk about levels of treatment. Matter of fact, when you call D-Win and you go through your screening and you go through your assessor, and then they usually determine what level of treatment that they'll place you in and set up the intakes and those processes.
Yes, sir.
But what level of treatment are you guys serving here at Mariners Inn?
Well, we offer 3 levels. We serve residential substance abuse treatment and recovery. We serve outpatient treatment and recovery.
Okay.
And then we serve recovery housing treatment and recovery. So once they go through the residential piece of it, and they meet the criteria to continue on into intensive outpatient. And then from there, if they need more support, they can go into recovery housing for a few months to practice their skills to get to reenter the community.
Wow, that's carried it on.
Yes, sir.
I mean, a lot of treatment ain't what it used to be.
No.
Kind of like back in the day.
No.
It was different. I mean, people was, you could stay in treatment for a year.
Yes.
Back in the day. Now it's usually 90-day bites for outpatient and intensive outpatients and things like that.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about that outpatient piece. What do you guys cover? We got an audience out here that's listening that when I say outpatient, they don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
But can you talk a little bit about the outpatient piece to individuals that don't know our lingo?
Sure.
And then talk a little bit about the intensive outpatient.
Sure.
And then touch on the, you said residential.
Recovery housing.
And recovery housing.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
touch on those 3
Absolutely.
platforms a little bit?
From an outpatient standpoint, what we mean when we refer to that is a person has gone through the residential component of the program, and if their authorizations or their ability to stay while being paid for has run out, then we try to reauthorize with an outpatient authorization that says, well, you can still see this person once a week, but they have to come back for treatment. They have to come back for services. They can no longer live there.
Okay.
So outpatient could be once a week, twice a week. Intensive outpatient, what we offer is intensive outpatient with a domicile. So what that means is a person can still live here, but then only have to go to treatment 3 days a week. And that's intensive outpatient with domicile. That means those people are a little further along in terms of reentering the community to practice their sobriety. Recovery housing is for people who don't necessarily have a place to go, still need shelter, still need support, still need treatment. We offer housing stability services for them to continue to practice their sobriety skills, to practice going to meetings, to practice intervention, to practice relapse prevention in a recovery housing setting where they can live up to 6 months before they have to.
Wow, man, with that type of a platform, I believe and I can see your outcomes being a whole lot more successful than having a person that go through residential with no outpatient or go to outpatient with no domicile, intensive outpatient. There's a new term out here now called peer recovery coaching.
Yes, sir.
How do that play into the recovery process now?
It's significant. I mean, when you talk to the people that we serve and have served, I think one of the things that they garner the most support from is talking to and being around people who've actually gone through the process. And that's what the recovery coaches present. We also have an alumni program, folks who have gone through the program and are staying connected and like to come back on Saturdays. Today is Saturday. They come back and they talk to the men and try to help coach them through the process of what this treatment and recovery process means. But recovery coaches, peer coaches, people who have gone through the process are instrumental in helping the people, the newcomers. That's another term in the support network. The newcomers gain a footing and an understanding of what they're getting ready to go through in order to embark on long-term sobriety. So it's hugely important, and the people that we serve find it paramount to their success.
Yeah, I had some conversation with those who are in training or in education programs through colleges and universities. There's learning, social work, counseling, and some of the other skill sets to be able to come out in the community and then work with this population.
Yeah.
And one of the subjects that I always ask and share when the question come up and your participant asks you, have you have a history and have you ever hit the pipe, drank the, had a DUI, have you ever did all of that? And then sometimes individuals will shy away from clinicians or counselors or social workers who say they never had a drink or never had a problem with that. So I was sharing with them that you got to be able to answer that question. When you sit in front of the population of the people that we're going to be serving now,
that's right.
You got to be able to answer that question. So I was asking them, well, how are you going to answer that question when it come up? And I was sharing with them that sometimes you don't have to be an actual user. You could grow up in an environment that using took place. And that could have been your passion and your motivation for becoming a social worker, counselor, or getting into the field. You don't have to have actually used yourself in order to help people that have been using. And the people that's coming out of, like you say, newcomers, and when they would ask those questions, we as clinical individuals got to be able to answer those questions.
Absolutely.
If you can't answer that question, they'll shy away from you and try to go to the clinician that have history. And how you going to have everybody in the building, everybody in the workforce don't have history. And so we got to be able to answer those questions and things like that. Do you guys do detox?
We don't. We don't do detox. We are involved with the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, who have programs who offer detox. In that referral process, what a consumer does or a person seeking treatment will do is call and request services from DWIN. That's Detroit Wayne for short. And they will ask them if they're in need of detox support services. And sometimes they can find programs that are 3 to 5 day detox programs. And then after that, they will request to come to us for the remainder of their treatment.
A lot of times.
We found that we're on the other end of that spectrum.
And a lot of times when you got individuals who have suffered with alcohol, opioids, and some of those layers and levels of using, they require that a person do detox first. So if the screener pick it up in the conversations at DWIN, they immediately are trained to petition that person to do probably detox first.
Right.
And that's an opportunity that they can, these substances can be secreted out of the system
True.
and out of the body up under doctoral medical care, because
True.
some substances, while it's being secreted out of the system and the body, can cause shock, DTs,
Yep.
I mean, it can cause so many other major problems.
Right.
So you're right about that.
Yeah, you have to be ready and available from a medical standpoint with nurses and doctors on staff to provide detox services. We're a quality behavioral health facility that deals with substance abuse treatment and recovery. So we're on the accreditation side that deals with the behavioral health aspects of it. Once the body has ridded itself of those substances, has detoxed, where there's no withdrawals, what we deal with is the behavior side of addiction and the mental health side of addiction.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good piece there. Is it any new visions or anything's going on in the near future that you would like to share with the community at large?
Yeah.
Like what's going on here at Mariners Inn? I was driving down the street and I seen fences and
Yes, sir.
you can't step over here and
Yes, sir.
roadblocks and all of that. And it looked like there's a resurrection of another facility right here.
I love it.
I look like I synced it. Yeah. It's happening right here. Yeah. You want to talk about that for a minute?
I do, but when you say for a minute, Mr. Washington, that's one of the things that I can talk about forever. I mean,
we got to come back. We got to come back and just talk about the resurrection part.
Yes,
but
it's been part of our vision and our mission for years. And we, like I said, then one of the services that we offer is recovery housing and permanent supportive housing as well, meaning that, these are our studio bedroom apartments for people who have suffered from the disease of addiction, who have been homeless for years. We've decided to embark on that side of the vision of Mariners Inn Human Services. Permanent supportive housing, recovery housing in an 84-unit structure that's, like you said, being built right next to us. We are currently in service. The construction is going on while you and I are sitting here now, and people are still receiving the services that they need to help combat the disease of addiction. So I'm extremely proud of the fact that the 69-year history that we've been here, we have never embarked on a vision or a project like this before. And we were fortunate enough with all of the goings on in the city in terms of, the new districts and the new neighborhoods that people are creating, that we remained here as a nonprofit treating the disease of addiction and helping those homeless people actually see the light as well. Be part of the, I like the word you use, be part of the resurrection.
Yeah, that's
we are helping to research. We're helping to help people know and feel like they're a part of the resurgence. And for years, there was speculation about what would happen to places like this when you mentioned earlier, Harbor Light.
Gone.
Little Caesars is now Harbor Light. Little Caesars Arena is now Harbor Light. And people were wondering, what is Mariners Inn going to be doing?
The NSO. Gone.
NSO, gone. What's Mariners Inn going to be doing in a place like that amidst all of this entertainment and activity and quote unquote triggers or opportunities for people to relapse and all of that? And I said to people then, like I say now, why not the people that we've been serving? We are preparing them to re-enter the community. We're preparing them to be part of the resurgence. Why not here? Why not now? And especially, why not them? So we are extremely proud of the fact that we will be able to provide another 84 units, apartments.
Man, that's a big piece.
Yes.
84 apartments.
84 apartments
for an individual that's getting their life together.
Absolutely.
They done went through detox. They done went through level 1, level 2.
And are ready
and
to live
went
their
into
lives.
residential.
Yes.
And now they're ready to live their lives back in the community.
Yes.
As a full
women as well.
Women as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we're serving men and women.
That's vision.
Yeah. And I apologize for cutting you off.
But it's good.
I get so excited about this.
Cut me off. When you talk about this, I found out that vision follow passion.
Amen.
And I could feel your passion radiating out of that chair.
My mom told me before she left here, God rest her soul, the pandemic took her in March of 2020. But she told me years ago when I was, doing this kind of work, I've been here for 23 years. I've been the CEO since 2009. And I would tell her about the things we wanted to do and the things that I could help make this place or make people around me seek. And she said, son, I've heard this before, so don't take it as though it's mine. But she said, a vision is something that you see before you see it, so you can actually see it.
Wow.
And we're seeing that vision right now.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But it started in the heart.
Yes.
Like a passion. Then it moved up to vision, like a vision. And then I found out that resources follow vision.
Yes.
You got people with resources but don't know what to put them in.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They're
Yes.
all around the place. They got resources on top of resources, and they looking for a CEO with a vision or a Mariners Inn with a vision.
Thank you.
That had the passion. And now you'll see the resources pour in, and you'll see a resurrection of the vision.
From your mouth to God's ears. Thank you, Mr. Washington. Please say that again.
I said that.
From your mouth to God's ears.
Well, now that you're playing, I might as well go there.
Yes, sir.
God, in the name of God, through Christ, we can see that vision. The Bible tells us that where there's no vision, people perish. Now that's biblical scripture,
yes, sir.
And I found out that, like we said, that vision follow passion and resources follow vision, and I can see it. I mean, I was walking around here in '84. It was different. They had, this street wasn't like this. This street wasn't like this. Was on the street in 1984.
It's the corridor.
It was the corridor, and people were sleeping out there.
Yes.
People was, the girls of the nights was out there. The men's of the things was out there.
The drop-ins.
The drop-ins. I mean, everything was just right here. And for God to resurrect Mariners Inn, to be able to stay through those series of times and troubles, and they stayed, they remained. And now you see the vision manifesting itself, and I'm just good to be able to live. To be able to see that kind of stuff. I was talking to my Gen Zs. I said, I'm going to bring them down here and let them see something while they playing.
Yes,
They keep talking about all of this and all of that. That's, what's that, 12 through 28, that population. They are the computer science genre. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm a baby boomer. So you got the baby boomer, you got the millennial, you got the Gen Zs, you got Generation Alpha, then you got the silent generations. And through all of that, we see the manifestation of something good.
Yes.
And it's all leaning towards people with a history of substance use disorders and mental health. People deserve a chance.
Absolutely.
And because of the stigma associated with it, that's where Recovery Live birthed, because somebody got to tell it. Somebody got to get on the news. Somebody got to get on Recovery Live Global. Somebody got to get on this global platform and talk about recovery.
Amen.
Because the news don't talk about this part.
Right. Because it's not bleeding enough. Right.
They don't talk about this part.
Yes, sir.
But this part need to be talked about. The church need to hear this. Some grandmama out there, they got a grandson that's out there smoking crack, and it seemed like he ain't gonna never get it together. Well, we're here to tell you that there's programs out here to help you to get it together. He could pick up a phone, a cell phone, drop a dime. Well, I don't think they got no drop a dime phone booths no more. But you could dial 1-800-241-4949, 1-800-241-4949. A screener gonna get on the phone from DWIN. They're gonna screen you, asset you, and point you right to a provider of treatment that can help you with your situations and your circumstances.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna take a station break, and we'll be right back.
The opioid epidemic still exists across all zip codes and without boundary, but there is hope and there is help. The Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network offers treatment, prevention, and recovery resources for those struggling with addiction. Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network has trained clinicians that will talk with you and get you connected to the help that you need. We will help you on your recovery journey. Call us anytime, 24/7 at 800-241-4949. We are here to talk, here to help.
Now, thank you. We're back. Recovery Lab Global, and I'm back in the office with David Simpson here at Mariners Inn. And man, we've had some conversation. Man, the conversation we had during the break. We should have had them cameras on, man. But it's just a lot. I feel your passion. I feel your heart. I see where you're going. It seemed like you solid and feel so good about being part of the CEO of a program.
Yes, sir.
Like Mariners Inn, and then have the connection with D-Win. And you probably connected with others, programs and different MOAs that you might have with other projects and other programs.
Yes,
are you part of the faith-based initiative with D-Win?
We are not. We are not.
Okay.
I think one of the things that sort of like preempts it, or, puts a sort of a barrier in terms of being a part of the faith-based initiative in D-Win is the fact that this is an unfortunate side of federal, local, and state funding. Mm-hmm. So when you're involved in federal funding, they say that you can't be a religious-based organization seeking federal dollars. Mm-hmm. And, we took on that practice years ago, mm-hmm. and maybe we haven't done enough research to know now that it's okay to be involved in faith-based initiatives. But because we took that route so long ago, we haven't really turned back to seeking support from that endeavor. However, we do welcome, volunteer. Churches to come aboard and to request to be able to provide services to the men. We ask the men if they want to volunteer to do that they're welcome to do that. But it's not something that we mandate in terms of, a religious type of service here.
Yeah, D-Win touching it now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And right now, the latest modality of treatment, therapy, or interventions that you could apply to a human being is coming up with the 8 dimensions of wellness.
Okay.
And one of them is financial, emotional, intellectual, what's the other one? Physical. I mean, all of the dimensions. But one of the dimensions today says spiritual within the 8 dimensions of wellness, which means now as a provider, as a treatment provider, we can utilize the whole 8 dimensions. That's the holistic approach to healing.
Okay.
So it's not just going to the doctor. It's having your emotions in check, having your financials in check, having your environment in check, having your spirituality in check. Mm-hmm. And so now that they're doing that, you're finding out now that a lot of the holistic approaches to wellness, I'm talking about the big picture wellness,
right.
involves spiritual.
Right.
And so now the problem with all of that is what's spiritual, because there's so many of them.
Right.
It's 25 different Islamic faiths,
right.
25 different Christian faiths. It's 25. It's so many. Mm-hmm. And I like the way the 12-step program came out with Brother Bob and Bill.
Yeah.
When they came out, higher power.
Right.
They took the name off of God, put higher power in the steps.
Yes.
That made those steps universal to anybody and everybody that was in the room.
True.
And the people stopped dying outside.
Right.
So
right.
they was able to come in.
Right.
So that higher power concept have allowed any religion, any faith, any practice to be able to come at this table and then acknowledge that God is part of the answer.
Absolutely.
To my recovery.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly believe in the, not just the concept, but the practice, that there are many pathways on the road to recovery, and spirituality is definitely a part of it.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want it to be misunderstood that we don't believe in that, because we absolutely do. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to funding the operation of a program and the kinds of initiatives that help you fund those operations, sometimes it might not be looked favorable upon if you're seeking it through a specific religion or something.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You got that. You got that right. And we don't want to stop the entities that's supplying the fundings to help us.
That's right.
Because of one person.
That's right. You're absolutely right.
Because of one person.
Yes, sir.
We want to open our door. Like Henry Ford Hospital, they don't ask you what kind of religion and what kind of faith you is before they service you.
Right.
They service you.
Right.
And we are servicing people really on that level.
True.
What would you like to say now as we wrap up our program? Is it anything, it's a global ministry.
Yes, sir.
It's a global platform. Is it anything that you would want to look into the camera and say to the globe in these last few minutes or so?
Yeah.
Talk to the world.
Well, thank you, Mr. Washington. I really, like I said before, I truly appreciate the opportunity to discuss this very important topic of treatment and recovery, how important it is not just to the community and the people that we serve, but how important it has been in my own life. One of my driving factors to be supported in this area is my own journey of recovery, which I'm happy to say I'm 35 years clean and sober. And the thing that brought me into this is the unfortunate death of my sister, who happened to get killed 2 blocks away from here. So full circle, this dream of the recovery process and successful recovery and long-term sobriety has happened because things have happened to me. And now that it's positive on this side of the fence, of the recovery side of the fence, I'm able to see and partake in the future of the treatment and recovery process right here at Mariners Inn, which is what was known formerly as the Cass Corridor, but providing services for people who need it most. I'm blessed to be able to see this vision come to fruition of a new 84-unit recovery development being built right next door to us as we sit here now. I'm pleased to tell you, everyone involved, that we're still seeking support. We mentioned earlier, and I think it was off camera, that we used the word to talk about how important it is to give hope to people who need it most, to give hope to the ideal that recovery is possible and it's real. And for some of us, selfishly, we say it begins at Mariners Inn. But we are offering the opportunities for people who want to support us through a small fundraiser, a small endeavor. I hope it's okay to say this.
Oh, yeah.
That's happening at the Athenaeum Hotel in the city of Detroit on March the 21st. And interestingly enough, the reason I mentioned hope is because the name of that small fundraiser is Hope Sets Sail. And it's designed to help provide operational support and furniture to the new building that we're having built behind us. And that's on March the 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Athenaeum Hotel. And if you can join us, please join us. Our website is marinersinn.org. Our phone number is 313-962-9446. Our fundraiser is Ms. Tahila Tolbert. So if you find it in your heart to either visit us or join us or visit our website for more details, it will be greatly appreciated. And again, thank you.
Well, I thank you, Mr. David Sampson. I thank you for participating in Recovery Live Global. And I like to say, if you're out there and you're listening to this session, to this process, and to this product, and you want to be a part of it, you can call the Recovery Live. Our information will scroll up the screen after the show. Call us, and we'll bring our cameras in, and we'll talk to you about what you're doing in the community to help. I mean, we got gun violence, we got substance abuse violence, we got trafficking, it's just so many dynamics that's happening under the cover behind the scenes. That's snatching our young people and pulling our young people right out of their lives. And we got to talk about it. We got to talk about this stuff.
Absolutely.
Somebody got to talk about it. And I choose to talk about it on Recovery Live Global. So this has been another segment of Recovery Live Global. And I thank you for viewing, tuning in, share the information that you're seeing right now. And this is Recovery Live Global. We thank you. and we'll see you on the next session.